All right, we up. Okay, so welcome, everybody. My name is Toomey. This is my boy Eric. We're here to talk to you about all the stuff that happened in today's game. So we're basically previewing this show. This is eventually going to be something we're going to be partnering with the company. I can't really share right now, but we're going to be partnering with them next week. And so this show is going to have a different format. Make sure that you follow this account, Fantasy Football Strategist, which is posting this on YouTube, and follow that account on TikTok. You're going to hear a lot of stuff about what's happening next week, but it's really exciting stuff, really fun with a big fantasy football props betting network. So it's gonna be really cool. So yeah, I'm Toomey. That's my boy Eric. You introduce yourself, man.
Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Eric, as you said. I'm just one of the homies. Professionally, that's what I do with my mans. We're sitting here talking about all the good stuff. I'm so excited. I love this part of the weekend. Let's get it.
All right, let's go. So let's start off with some of the negative stuff real quick. We're gonna rattle through. I'll just list off some of the injuries and we'll just have an immediate reaction. This first one sucks so bad. Tank Dell, fractured fibula. He's done.
Yeah, it's like an insult to injury because it was before he even put up any points. You know what I'm saying? So you did an injury and a donut just to go ahead with that. That's awful. Personally, I'm impacted by this. So yeah, awful day.
It's like God, like everyone's good. I mean, Monday morning quarterback. Why the hell is this 160-pound man blocking on a goal line run? Like, I come on. Like,
it crossed my mind, but yeah, I was like, hey, I'm not paid the big bucks. Hey, I'm just jumping to conclusions because I see something negative. However, I know that question will be presented. You just know it.
It's just like, what, like, like the one thing that I was just hoping, like, just make it through the season, because the concern with him is his size. And the fact that this happened, it just doesn't help you. Oh boy.
I think even during the showcast, they say he's like 5'10", $165, and I was like, man, $165. That's like me in 8th grade. That's little.
And I mean, like, you could compare him to like T.Y. Hilton, Deshaun Jackson, those types of players, and they dealt with injuries. I mean, they were not blocking on first and goal at the one. They're not in the mix like that, man.
Fractured his fibula due to his size.
Yeah. His fibula small, like he got rolled up, like, because he got rolled up on, like people get rolled up on any run play all the time. It wasn't even something crazy, and it broke his leg.
Precisely. I do wish him well, speedy recovery.
For sure. And so the next one, I do not have that many details about. I'm pretty sure it's just a concussion based on what I saw. But D.Henry left the game. Really quick, just to speak about the fantasy impact of the Tank Dell injury. If Tank Dell is he's out for the year. N.Collins, as we saw, we're going to talk about him in the hits. Like, it's N.Collins season now. He is about to go ridiculous because Denver was technically the hardest matchup for a wide receiver in fantasy over the last 4 weeks. So we got a lot to talk about with him. All right. And then the next one, D.Henry, he went out with a concussion, I believe. And T.Spears came in and was like putting in some work. That is another one, man.
People should have him already. T.Spears has been recommended since like the beginning of the season. He's been a major handcuff, and if D.Henry does miss a lot of time, I wouldn't really anticipate that. I'd feel pretty comfortable with him.
Yeah, he is if there was anybody who's like, this is the handcuff you need to own if the main guy went down, he to me was like the number one on the list, outside of like a Zach Charbonnet or somebody like that, if the starter was like out for the season. But more so him, honestly, because of his schedule and based on how much that team runs and how explosive he is. Like, he still put up some work.
Yeah, he was getting receiving yards and everything with about that last quarter that he had to fill in for. So he does everything for them. He should be major return potentially.
Yeah, he's to me, if Henry, based on all the injuries, just really quickly, number one waiver wire pickup, like, no question if he's available. No question.
Absolutely.
Next one, Rhamondre. Went down with the ankle sprain. I think the x-rays were negative, so he's at least wasn't dealing with like a break like Tank Dell was dealing with. But it honestly looked like it. I definitely thought he broke his leg.
Yeah, when you need help off to the sideline, everyone assumes the worst, and he needed help to the sideline.
And I was very pissed off because I had him in every prop I could have, boy. I had, because the matchup was beautiful for Rhamondre, getting so many carries the last few weeks, getting receiving work with an offense who can't do anything. Like, they were planning to lean on him, and he actually was doing okay before he went out. Yeah. It's just that game was trash.
I didn't want to go there. I was like, boy,
yeah,
wasn't much to miss.
Yep. I'm gonna speed through the next few real quick.
Yes,
Ryan
sir.
Robinson, he went down with an injury. Antonio Gibson is definitely worth a pickup. Kenny Pickett went down with an ankle. He looks like he's out for a little bit because he was wearing a walking boot. So that's not a good look. Because Mitch Trubisky's still trash. Derrick Henry, he went down with, I don't even know what he went down with, but that man gets injured all the time, like we were just talking about.
Exactly.
And it seems like Jameis Winston territory is afoot for us again.
Jemias.
Yep. And I think that's a big boost for Chris Olave because Jameis don't care. He just throws it up.
Yeah, he had a great game too.
Yeah, he did. Chris Olave?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was balling. Coming back from Coming back from a sound like I got a concussion. Coming back from a concussion, which we've only seen like a few skill players do it. So Alexander Madison did it, and now Chris Olave has done that. Skill players who get concussed 1 week and then return to the next. So maybe there's some hope for Derrick Henry if he's officially diagnosed with a concussion. Puka went down with an injury, but he came back into the game. And then A.Cooper went down with an injury. And Elijah Moore was soaking up a lot of targets. And that was one thing I was telling some people who were like in my lives on TikTok and stuff. If you were just taking a flyer, he was in my top 40. It wasn't like I had him in my top 20 or anything. But I definitely was promoting Elijah Moore because of the connection that he had with Joe Flacco when they were with the Jets. And I was like, if you're going to lean on something, that's something to lean on. He was targeting him unnecessarily, even in like red zone triple coverage. He's still targeting Elijah Moore, so I think that he's a big pickup too.
Yeah, Joe Flacco looked like he'd been doing a little bit of work. He wanted to come out there a little sharp. Joe Flacco was like, I know people gonna think I'm gonna be a little bit of slow out here. I'm gonna just go ahead and hazmat through this game. He was like, nah, I still got something to me.
Yeah,
put some dots out there.
No, I mean the ball was coming out of his hand. Like it looks like he it almost feels like he feels like unleashed a little bit, where he's just chucking it. Who cares? Like, whatever. I'm Joe Flacco. I just came off the couch. I don't have all the pressure. I'm not trying to compete for some contract. I'm just throwing this thing. Let's see what happens.
He playing like you called me.
Yeah. I don't care what happens next. I don't care if we win.
Yeah. I picked up the phone.
Yep. All right. So now let's go through our hits and misses. So guys, what we're going to do is go through some of the people who were just massive hits. We're going to kind of go back and forth, and then we'll do some hits. Like, you give a hit, I'll give a hit, and then we'll go through a miss. You give a miss, and I'll give a miss. We'll just kind of rock through like that for the rest of the show, Eric. Okay?
Let's do it.
All right, so you go ahead. You pick up what's one of their hits?
Oh, I'm going to go with the man we got up here first because I was watching that thinking, how many yards is he going to finish with? Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill, the cheetah. What the hell? I knew the Commanders couldn't cover anything, but my goodness, if he was a cold, they not catching that. That man was unstoppable. 5 receptions, 157 yards, 2 toddies.
Like 5 receptions is the worst part because he wasn't 10, it wasn't 12, it was 5 receptions for something is coming. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like you basically play Hail Mary defense for the Miami Dolphins. Like just you seed anything up the middle, you seed the run game. Don't let him get behind you, and their safeties were letting him get behind them every single time.
I'm sure people are going to know the replay. There's a play where before he says hike, Tyreek does a slight squat, looks at him. It's almost like, yo, this dude he's easy weight. This is lightweight right here. Let's go ahead and get this. And he does it. In that same play, that's where they go for that bomb touchdown. I was like, he's like, hey.
This one here. He's too little.
It was nice. I was like, man, this dude, he's just different. As the youth says, that's a different one.
He's a different one, bro. Like he's probably gonna get that 2K. I was very skeptical. He's getting that 2K. It's honestly like it would be disappointing now if he didn't.
When you can play with your food like that, hell yeah, you getting 2K. Hell yeah. Give him his 2K.
With your food like that. Like oh my god. So all right, so we were just kind of talking about my next hit. So it's gonna be Nico Collins. So this week, I actually thought Tank Dell was gonna do better than Nico because of a few things. P.Surtain, I knew he was going to be on Nico Collins. And then Tank Dell, I just thought, coming back, he's going to just play really well. And I just thought he was going to be better. We already talked about the Tank Dell injury. But even outside of that, Nico was kind of doing his thing to P.Surtain, and P.Surtain went out with an injury and came back later in the game. No Dalton Schultz, no Tank Dell, P.Surtain going down. Nico dominated this. What did he have? He had 9 for 12 for 191 and a touchdown for 34 PPR points. And I think, like, again, like I said earlier, Denver, the number one defense against wide receivers, I think over the last 4 weeks, that is, he just tore them up like they weren't nothing. And I do think with this super pass-heavy offense, Eric, he could be in, like, top 10 territory moving forward just because of the availability of targets now.
Yeah, I think Nico's going to be targeted like he's that guy on the Chargers everyone knows. Allen, yes. He might turn into the new Allen. That guy's going to be, like, targeted like crazy. Like Tank Dell just went down. That is supremely massive. That's a supernova loss. So that ball has to go somewhere. And I think even the back end tight end was even talking smack. They definitely throwing the ball out there in Houston.
Oh yeah, they're talking it, bro. All right, so now let's hit some misses though.
Couple misses. Who I would pick? I was really hoping Brees would do something on the ground for the Jets. You know, just looking at his stats and having him as a player, that's why I picked him.
God, I forgot he did that bad.
Yes, man. 13 carries, 16 yards, 6 of 8 targets for 29 yards. It's just that everyone knows he's who you have to go. And he was taking some pretty big hits out there from my perspective. You know, I'm like, he's a running back, but I mean, that's why they have a shorter career. I was like, that game, he's going to be in the ice bath for that. And that's what you don't want if you have Brees Hall. If he's going to have to take hits like that, you want some production. It's like, give him a quarterback that opens the lanes up. Why didn't you guys get Joe Flacco? They went through like 3 people behind Aaron Rodgers. They've all been about half as good as I am. You know what I'm saying? So what is good? What is really good?
How long do you play quarterback?
I played a long time in Madden. I think I go to the backyard a few times in middle school. Sometimes I was all-time QB. That means you play for both sides. Shoot, I can play for the Jets.
But that's like it's disappointing. Like you said, they could have had Joe Flacco. Not a world beater. He throws the ball down the field.
True.
Like you could have had, like even Trevor Siemian. I mean, I'm at least happy they put him in, but like he's nothing. Like you could have had Dobbs. You could have honestly, like the way they were talking, you could have probably had Ryan Tannehill. You could have had a lot of, like, there was a lot of people you could have had, and you chose to go this route, from my perspective, to protect the ego of Aaron Rodgers, who it does look like you lost again. There's no chance of the playoffs. You guys are honestly much closer to getting like a top pick, and you held yourself hostage because of Aaron Rodgers. But you also are not going to be able to benefit from that because you're not going to take another quarterback because of Aaron Rodgers. Like, you've really put yourself in purgatory there.
It's just one of those things. You just observe as a fan. You're like, I just don't know what to say.
All right, so I'm going to go through my mess, though. I think the fall-off has officially begun for Austin Ekeler. I think it's officially begun.
Deep.
I was getting so much flack this preseason for saying Austin Ekeler 1,000,000% will not finish as a top 3 running back. Like, I was like, he will not finish as a top 3. He can't. And age wasn't even the biggest factor, but it seems to be creeping in on him now. He's just not breaking tackles, man. Like, he's had 8 of 9 games under 67 rushing yards. And again, New England's a good defense, but you can't, I mean, at some point, like, a great player has to play well against a tough defense. Like CMC, Philly's a tough defense. I think he's doing all right. Like, these elite players play well even against elite competition. He is not stepping up in that perspective, and he only got 2 targets today. When all these receivers are hurt, if Austin Ekeler is not giving you targets and touchdowns, he's giving you nothing. And that was my concern this preseason, because they did, like, at least bolster their receiver depth so they could absorb some injury. Yes. And we haven't really seen that performing, but I mean, they've had multiple injuries. But he's still not even catching targets, which is concerning. And also the touchdowns, it's just like you cannot heavily rely on the touchdown production like we see with, like, Jamal Williams from last year to this year. Like, you cannot just rely on touchdown production every year. Austin Ekeler was amazing at scoring touchdowns. Last year he had 18. The year before he had 21. It's like it was not possible for him to have another year like that. That's just touchdown regression is a thing because it's the most variable thing you can have in football, fantasy football in particular. And so because of that, like, I just don't know what we're going to get from him. If it's a tough matchup, he's tough to play. Like, he's still going to probably be in the top half, like a top 12 running back. But these days of just putting him as a top 2, top 3 option, I think those days are done. Like, that offense sucks right now.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to do about it.
I know he had an injury earlier in the season. He missed a number of weeks. You almost want to say maybe that's crept up on him, because I think I heard something where he said he was good going in a straight line, but the injury was something where it deterred his ability to cut. I mean,
that's important.
Yeah, as a running back,
Bro,
it's a major deal. So he might have been more confident in his abilities, and you don't want to say right now, well, honestly, I'm still a little bit hurt. Because people say, well, you've been back for a few weeks now. So he probably has backed himself into a corner where I just got to go ahead and, nut this out, to be honest with you. Because, I mean, it's looking like you said. I mean, what can you say? That's the numbers. My God.
And I mean, the age, that's the thing, too, is like if he wasn't, is he like 29, 28? He's at that age where the running backs like fall off a cliff. And he's never been a big rushing yards producer on baseline. But this sucks. And you got to have receptions. Like, that's the thing. Like, you're almost praying for, like, if you're going to have Josh Palmer injured, Mike Williams out, Quentin Johnson, he finally actually stepped up a little bit today, but normally not stepping up.
Yeah, I saw him a couple times.
Yeah, and like Gerald Everett, like you gotta like Ekeler, you should be the number 2 target on this team, no question. Because Bill Belichick's taking Keenan Allen away. Like that's the purpose of that offense. They don't really even need to try to take you away. You're kind of taking yourself away because you're not. He's incredibly inefficient on the ground. Like he's just ugh. Man. All right,
18 yards.
That's trash. All right, but now, so let's get back to some good stuff. All right, you go.
Next person who's a hit, I'm going to go with my boy McBride from the Cardinals. I was talking him up a couple of weeks ago. I was like, I feel like he's next. Man went 8 of 9 for 89 yards and a toddy. This guy is here. I guarantee next year he's like a top 5 considered tight end. Everybody's going to be like, yeah. They're going to talk about tight ends. Everyone's going to try to be smooth and be like, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to just get McBride. The man different.
Yeah, he was like the best tight end in the nation when he came out, but it was just considered like a down tight end year when he was drafted. So I think he went like the 2nd or 3rd round out of like Colorado. I'm gonna mess this up and people are gonna get so upset. Colorado State, the non-Dion school, the green and gold one, Colorado State, because you know them state and them regular schools, they be getting all salty about that.
Beef.
Colorado State, Jesus. All right, but yeah, he was really good. It's just he wasn't considered super athletic or super special at any one thing. He's clearly showing that now. I think especially in dynasty formats, like there's only so many tight ends you could take over him. I mean, the guy I'm going to talk about, I may take over him, but like that's a very short list. But Sam Laporta is on that list now.
Oh yes,
this
absolutely.
Man went apeshit. Like he went nuts.
Tight end is solved. We got enough tight ends to really pick from. Tight end is pretty cool.
Like we don't see this from a rookie. You literally never in the history, you don't ever see this from a rookie tight end.
Have to agree.
Like
9 of 9.
9 of 9 for 140, bro. Like he played with them, man. He played with those Saints. Like it was
he played so well. Even if you don't watch, you just know being in that stadium, you must have heard that name. Every time they went to him, he performed. He played excellently. That's incredible. Like that's a very good game of football. Like people don't know, and you don't watch a lot of football. That Detroit Lions game with Sam Laporta, the rookie, that's a good game of football. That's how you do your job, right there.
And I guess like
fantastic game.
He crushed that. But I'm gonna hop to from that just one of my misses, Jahmyr Gibbs, man. Like it's not even his fault. His production was okay for what he got. He just didn't get that much. And they scored a lot of points. They just were scoring with other means.
Yes.
And the amount of times, like, I'd like to know what the snaps here. I need to look that up. But, like, it's just he does, like, the work is going to be so inconsistent. It is hard to trust him as a top 10 option. Like, the talent is there, no question. This matchup was a good matchup. He went 8 for 60. That's great. Like, average-wise, that's solid. The thing that's going to, it's going to kill you. 1 reception on 2 targets. For Jahmyr Gibbs, he has to be in that 7-target territory. He has to be in that 4 to 5 catch territory to be what we want him to be in PPR. That was like really disappointing today.
And he's very capable of that. It's just that the team didn't need it. I guess the greatest sequence that summarizes how people should perceive Gibbs, he had a very good carry where he brought them into the red zone, and immediately they switched to Montgomery, and he ran in for the touchdown. So if he had those opportunities, as you said, this guy would just be like an Achane every single game. He's got the kind of ability to go ahead and do it. But, you know, they're too wealthy of ample opportunity over in Detroit. They've got the Sun God that everybody calls him. They got Williams. His speed is unbelievable.
Amon-Ra didn't even do too much today. He
Yeah,
only
but
caught
they
2
target
passes.
him a
Yeah.
lot, and he's like very involved in the game. But even if he doesn't have a good game, he still didn't follow on Gibbs to go ahead and have any production. Because, like I said, Williams is the dude who was a rookie last year. His speed is incredible. I knew he was picked up for that, but it came off the actual screen. That's when you know, like, all right, I see why he was a high pick and people believe in him. They give you time to heal and all that. It's because you're a freak athlete, so that makes sense.
That what was it called? The end around.
Yeah.
You just could. No one was touching him.
Had that Debo Samuel's determination on that end around.
Hell yeah, he did. And then he skied into the end zone.
It
was funny.
Was funny.
You remember? I remember it was like a Thursday night game where I think Andy Dalton threw a pick 6 to Arizona Cardinals, and there's like a clip of like Andy Dalton. He threw the pick, and the guy's like soaring into the end zone, kind of flying behind him. I was like, I would love somebody to do like a slow mo because it was this. I mean, because it was the same team against. It was kind of the same thing against the same team where. Jameson Williams kind of took off like Superman, and the defender for the Arizona Cardinals who made the pick 6, both of them going to the end zone kind of did the same type of bit. It's kind of funny.
That is funny.
Yeah.
I mean, I would do the same thing. The man literally was flying when he was running his ass over there. I mean, you might as well dive like he did. Goodness gracious, that speed.
That's the most challenging. Nice. That's the most challenging thing he did on that run. Not some defender.
Easily untouched.
Oh man, where are we at? We hit some misses. I think I did a miss. What do you got next?
If you did a miss, you want me to go ahead and grab one of these? Actually, I should go out and grab a miss as well.
Yeah.
I was talking him up. This is a guy I picked up as a rookie. The Muth was not that Luth this past week. 3 of 5, 29 yards. I actually was debating to go with McBride or him for myself. And in talking to you, sir, thank you for your kind guidance. I picked McBride. But I was still thinking Muth, Patrick Freiermuth would do a little bit better than he did. I still think he's a good tight end, but this just wasn't the week for him. So
yeah. And I think it's that team just got that ass beat. Like, there's nothing else to say. Like, there's no other way to say. And I was not expecting that. I clearly, like probably most people, picked the Steelers to win that game. That's embarrassing.
But a good follow up. Let me go ahead and grab a hit. Who came into the Steelers and said, "Hey, I'm gonna just come in here. I used to play here. I went to school here, and I play for Arizona. I'm coming here." And he ran for 105 yards, 2 toddies on 25 carries. That man name is James Conner. He went absolutely bananas. Pittsburgh is called James Conner Steelers right now. He ran all over.
He just owned it. He got the James Conner Steelers.
No disrespect.
He dominated them. I know they kept having all those crazy delays. Oh my god! I'm sorry. I'm looking at the Thursday night football game next week. You see it?
Not yet.
Oh my god! The Thursday
I'm laughing at your reaction.
Oh, it's the Steelers and the Patriots. Oh gosh!
I'm at to have me some soda to stay up for that one.
I may not watch that one because to do the prep for that. Oh my gosh! Okay, the defenses are going to be good. All right,
disgusting.
I lost my train. Okay, James Conner. Yeah, I really liked him this week. I ranked him much higher than he definitely deserved to be ranked coming into this week because he just really wasn't doing anything in the passing game. But again, didn't really matter this game. He got all the touches. I knew they were going to feed him, especially at goal line, because they wanted to have him score in Pittsburgh. So I actually knew he was going to be okay. He was still in my top 18 or so running backs. He wasn't top 10 or something, but I didn't have him where he deserved to be based on the last few weeks, which is in the upper 20s.
Gotcha.
The one thing I would say that I almost want to caution is he's still not catching passes. And I think if you happen to be in one of the rare leagues where you could still trade somebody, this is the definition of a sell high. All that motivation is so unique to this one game that I think that you're just not going to see this level of James Conner, especially since Michael Carter is playing a lot of snaps. He's getting a lot of third down work. They just like some of these other pass catching options. And it's not, I mean, I get it. He's an older player. You probably want to preserve him. He's just not getting that work anymore. So in PPR, it is tough to trust him. And if you can sell him now. Just try.
Man, spot on analysis. That's why you do what you do. Gotta agree. Precisely.
Let's see. I'm trying to pick somebody who killed it. All right. I mean, we talked about Spears, but prior to that, King Henry was really tearing it up. He had a very good game. It's just kind of unfortunate he went out with a concussion. And I do think, like we saw today, Chris Olave, he did return 1 week after getting a concussion. So maybe the same thing could happen for Derrick Henry. Because I do think, man, we're getting into that that the Yeti season, the Derrick Henry winter, facing the AFC South, just smash mouth football, like all that. Like this is a season for it. But then if Derrick Henry's not here, that is why we said number one waiver wire priority is T.Spears. If he is not owned, I don't care if you have 18 running backs on your team. Go put out your waiver claim for him. This may be another blow the fab guy if he is available in your league.
But if he is available in your league is a
little sus.
Yeah. Just to be real.
That's facts. All right, what do you got?
I'll go to the misses, see who we got here. The misses, that sounds funny. Looking at Jay Waddle. He's on my team. Man.
Yes, sir. That was
Jalen Waddle. Very good player. Let me first say that. I still think he should go ahead.
Go set this man.
I'm just saying because I say that
down.
because that highlights my level of disappointment. I was going into this game like my man gonna hit him with a heem in this joint. He gonna absolutely carry these cats. He gonna put him on his back though, if you know what I mean. No, we spoke about Tyreek, but they didn't really need Waddle. That team is so wealthy, they didn't have to go ahead and force the ball to him. I just felt it in the air that he would have a good game because the tendency of Tyreek doing so well has been so prevalent. I would think that defenses at this time would overcorrect to try to stop the Tyreek explosion cheetah. Let me go ahead and just give Waddle a lot of opportunity. You just want to keep on thinking that that's going to happen going forward. But as it doesn't happen, you might see yourself falling out of playoff potential. That's the issue.
I don't know what the hell. The fact that there was no safety over top of Tyreek, I will never understand. And
it's another one of those. I'm just not paid, but I don't get it.
Because it's like exactly what you said. Waddle should be getting so much more work just because every defense should have two people glued to Tyreek Hill at all times, no matter what, at all times. And it's just like I was incredibly this matchup was uniquely designed for the Miami style of offense to dominate. And they did. They dominated the team, the Washington Commanders. But, man, like Waddle, for them to put up 45 points and for him to not be a part of it is gross. It's just like you don't know, like, what do I do with that now? Like, there was actually, it's funny. It was like there were some really great highlights from this game, but there were almost some really, 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 really disappointing news coming from this game to me.
For sure.
And Waddle's like the lead of it for me.
For sure. I was watching the game and he had a drop that was just like, yo, it's like he playing to piss me off. I don't understand what's going on. Ooh. Next week. You just hope you get a W if you have him on your team because you were expecting such a major amount of points from him given the high expectation for Tua. Tua delivered, but all of that and ain't no rain fall on you, Jalen. Come on, man. Come on, man.
And Achane, that's my guy. I got to talk about him next. I would say on TikTok, I put out like these start-sit videos and stuff where I just am basically saying this is who you should start versus like somebody will ask me, do I start Achane or Mixon? I'll say you need to start Achane because of blah, blah, blah. And a lot of people I was saying, Achane, you don't know. And that's the thing. I don't care what happened today. You really didn't know if he was going to play that much or not. But what I was telling people is if you have a safe option, you may want to go with them. But if you need that outburst, he could get you 2 points or he could get you 30 points. If you need that, and if you just got like torn up by DK, by Dak Prescott, but you're facing a team who did all that, you have to throw Achane. You have no choice. And so if you did that and you listened to that advice, you definitely benefited because Achane, what did he do? He went 17 carries for 73, 2 touchdowns, 3 or 4 receptions. He got more snaps than Mostert. I'm going to guess, I haven't dug into like the quarter by quarter stats. I'm going to assume a lot of that was late because based on what I saw, especially his second touchdown, Mostert probably was out of the game for a minute. So I don't know how much I want to take away from that, the fact that he outsnapped Mostert.
Yeah.
But I do think, like I've told people before, like when Achane is back, you got to try to do whatever you can to get something from Mostert because Mostert's value is going to crater, like we kind of saw today. He very luckily got you 12 points, but that's only because he scored.
Yeah, I mean, Achane, that speed that everyone talked about at the beginning of the season, there's nothing that anybody can do about that. I mean, Achane is so good. It's almost to the chagrin of Tua owners like myself, Tua managers like myself, because when he gets that close to the red zone, it's almost like, all right, we're going to get us a nice little touchdown, hopefully to Jalen Waddle. And those potential mid-range or short level type of passes that would be wide open for Waddle, given what you think they could construct in the plays where Tyreek would carry over a lot of the coverage. It's not there because they're just so damn efficient with Achane just running the ball in.
Yeah.
And it's like you can't really hate on that, but it's just damn.
You can hate on it. It's just like, because it's one of those things that's like, man, like Tua had a great game, but he kind of was still a little disappointing based on the final score.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, based on how that game started, I thought Tua was going to give us like 35. But we've also seen this from Miami where when they get a lead, they're cool running the ball, and they also are like a top 2 team running the ball. They're just good at running the ball. And versus the Washington team, who's a bottom 4 defense defending the run. And I'm not saying that I'm never going to say a team is giving up. That's a tough situation.
Oh boy,
for those defensive players to be in right now. I'll just say that it is a tough situation for them to be in because you are Jonathan Allen is not fully healthy. Deron Payne gets double and triple teamed every 2 seconds. Their linebackers are not really great, and now their edge players are not like super high profile players either anymore because of the trade. Like Ron Rivera clearly didn't know what he was doing based on the safety coverage. So it's just a tough situation for those players to be in to get mollywopped like that at home. Again, like we know that like in the DMV area, like this is not a new phenomena. We've seen that scoreboard say 45 for the other team a lot of times, and it just wears on you. So I just worry like this defense was already terrible. We could see like some really bad play over the next few weeks from them.
Again, well said. Like I wasn't even thinking about the human aspect, and you can fall and crater that much more when you have the high that they did of gaining new ownership. Everyone came in there and looking to things like, oh, we looking on up. They have a pretty decent quarterback, and forget the man's name right now, but yeah, Howell for everybody to go ahead and galvanize behind. However, given all of that, and you still have this kind of return, it's a major, major letdown. It's a pretty
really
personal. Like when you have anything like that you're greatly expected to go ahead and do well in, and to just see that. The human, I would target the Commanders going forward as a very weak defense, potentially, as you said. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
I mean, this one was easy this week because it's the what's it called?
The Dolphins, like you said.
Dolphins, yeah.
You got Tyreek and you got one of the most efficient running games. That team is, if they're not in anybody's top 5, they're probably not good at watching football.
Yeah, that's nuts. Like, well, now I got to put them in my top 5 to make sure they're in my top 5 now. Based on that comment, Jesus. But I mean, they are just being judged.
They're 5.
Oh my goodness! Well, I'm trying to pull up if anybody else did anything crazy. There was one guy I cannot find him. Evans. We gotta talk about Evans. I don't even think we have the full stats here because the game is just wrapping up.
Yes.
But like. Another year, another 1,000. He has 10,000 yards receiving seasons. He's only behind Jerry Rice, I believe, with 14. He now passed like Larry Fitz, who had 9, and a lot of Hall of Famers. Like I think Scott Hansen said, it's a passing era. I get it. I mean, I think he's a Hall of Famer. I think you got to give him a Hall of Fame. Like he's a Hall of Fame player. He got a Super Bowl. He's been a pretty good leader on that team for years. He's been on one team for a long time. He has like a lot of loyalty with that fan base. Not that means everything from a Hall of Fame standpoint. And I'm not saying he's a first ballot guy at all.
Yeah.
But I do think that's one of those guys who will eventually get into the Hall of Fame.
I mean, I have major respect for a milestone like that because one of my favorite things out of any kind of athlete or professional is consistency. So if somebody can just plug and play a human being like that into a system and you just know what you're going to get, the top quality, you got to tip your hat to that. Amazing achievement. Because
especially it's not even like cheap 1,000 yards. Because also there's like a ton of weeks left. Like he was getting massive plays. He almost scored on this one, like it had to be like a 50, 60-yard pass. Like
who was his quarterback? Who was his quarterback?
Baker?
Damn. Mike Evans is nice.
I mean, his quarterback in college was Johnny Manziel. Like this man is sick.
He made him.
He did.
He made Manziel.
He did. He literally you could actually say that. Yeah. Like he literally did that. He got that. He got Johnny Manziel drafted.
Yeah, just real talk. That's just what that is.
God. All right, let's do some. Oh, I feel like there's some misses we could definitely hop into. because there's some dudes who gave a 0 today. And I'm sure we're missing some, but Scary Terry and Marquise Brown, boy, yo, we got 0 points off y'all. That's not that. And Scary Terry in a game where a team scores 45 on you and you are not part of you're not part of the solution. Like, I don't know about that because, like, Curtis Samuel is a part of this offense. And he is, it's annoying, but he is a part of this offense. He is, unfortunately, the most consistent receiver there. Like, Logan Thomas, I think he gave you 2 points because he caught a 2-point conversion. Like, there was some – to be getting ghosted like that and to not have some more offensive production is wild. Like, actually, I don't even know if Sam Howell really, like – people are higher on him than I probably think they should be. Like, is he going to start the rest of the season?
Sam Howell benefits because of his backdrop being the Commanders. I think if he was doing this on any other team that had a higher public assumption of their competence, it wouldn't be tolerated. But it's like, oh, he's doing good with the Commanders. He's giving us some kind of, some love out there. They doing something. But I guarantee this game from Terry has converted some managers to absolutely never pick him ever again. Yes. Just because when you're getting blown out like that, you're expecting opportunity for the top wide receiver like they're a freaking running back with like a 40-point lead.
Yes.
They got nothing to do. I just hope you have enough oxygen. Yeah, because he's going to be running his ass off, just running routes, trying to go ahead and put points on the board. He had no catches, man. Just think about that. You a manager for Scary Terry, he got nothing in a game where he had to produce and do something. Like, you got nothing to lose. Like, just go in there and tell the quarterback, I don't give a damn what the play was called. Give the ball to Terry. That's it.
That's it.
Yes.
Like, Brian Robinson, actually, I'll give Brian Robinson credit. He got injured. But before that, I think he went 8 for 53. Like, he was doing okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have no other weapon that's legit? And again, Curtis Samuel is the only one who actually is doing anything. Like, throw the ball to Terry McLaurin. Hey, what's the play? Don't throw it to De'Ami Brown. Throw it to Terry McLaurin again. And then do it again. Just keep doing that. Like, I know Jalen Ramsey's good. Excuse me. Jalen Ramsey, Xavier Howard, all those guys, they're good, but geez, man, you can't have that. You cannot get blanked. And Marquise Brown, I'll tell you one thing, man. So I put out start-sit advice every week, guys. I do that every single week. I put out my rankings. I put out start-sit advice, and I'm telling people, you start so-and-so over so-and-so. If I ever say anything about Marquise Brown, fade it. Do the opposite. I literally, because I have him on multiple teams, and I don't think I've made the correct start-sit decision on that man one time. I've sat him when he's went off. I put him in my lineup multiple times when he's done nothing. At the beginning of the season, I wasn't playing him. Then he was doing great. I put him in my lineup. He begins to be trash. With his quarterback I was like, he's not going to do well last week. Did great. All right, this week, great matchup. Going to do well. 0 points.
McBride
Fade me on that topic.
McBride too nice.
I guess so, man. I guess that's the reason. And Pittsburgh just didn't. That's you want to talk about a team who just didn't show up, and they had multiple basically halftime. They had basically 3 different halftimes to figure out a game plan to work, and they could not figure it out with literally 3 intermissions.
With a game like that and the way that they were getting beat, wouldn't you love to be a fly on the wall with all that free time? Just be like, yo, all right, man. This is the second time. You getting your ass busted. Just show me what he's doing to you so we could come up with a quick strategy on how you should move to the left a little more or something like that, because you just getting walked out there like a dog. Then imagine they do that, and then on the third break, it'd be like you just look at him.
Like, bro.
Like, I would love to see how they do. What do you do? Like, we here in Pittsburgh, we got all this extra opportunity. We just going to accept the ass whooping?
By the Cardinals. This ain't the 49ers. The Cardinals have beat down, like, some people, though, this year, which is funny.
But they did lose their quarterback, I guess. And this is just from my perception how I just read things. I'm just like, come on.
Kenny, I'm sorry. I know Mr. Trubisky's not that good, but miss me with the gap between Mr. Trubisky and Kenny Pickett. It ain't this. You know what I mean? That's a baby. That's to say a baby step is a literal step for a baby from Mr. Trubisky to Kenny Pickett. All right, we got to hop into this Sunday night game real quick before we get around 8:00. So Sunday night football, guys. Chiefs, Packers. Chiefs are in Green Bay. I think that the Chiefs are going to win. What do you think?
I have to go and agree with the Chiefs. Based on when we talked about our top fives, I mean, I can't turn away from Mahomes. It's Patrick Mahomes. I mean, so
Yeah.
when you think about the Packers, you just think that, I mean, I could see a good game. We talking about them going against the Chiefs. They don't have a good game. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and side with the Chiefs.
Yeah. Like this is an interesting matchup. I'm going to go with the Chiefs as well. But there's a lot of things at play here. Green Bay's defense has been okay outside of last week. Green Bay's defense has actually been pretty decent.
Mm-hmm.
They're just so banged up, and that's the thing that's concerning for me. Let me look real quick. I'm not sure. I'm assuming Jair Alexander is going to play. I want to just double check because I do think that's pretty big for one certain matchup. He's not going to play. Good, not good. Sorry, but he's not going to play. I was a little worried about Rashid Rice because of that. Because if you're going to stick with somebody, no one's worth it in the Chiefs offense from a receiver standpoint outside of Rashid Rice. And so I actually still like Rashid Rice as a top 19 player. I think he's going to have a great game tonight because of the way that they actually target him, they're not even really targeting him downfield. I think it's him, Rondale Moore, and Wan'Dale Robinson have the shortest average depth of target in the league right now because he's just getting the ball right at the line of scrimmage, but it's also a good way to just get him the ball quickly because he's amazing yards after catch. So even like because of that, I actually wasn't worried about it because even if a Jair Alexander is going to stick to him, I was more worried about like downfield stuff. But now that Alexander is out and they're going to be missing a couple other pieces, I don't even know why we're playing this game. Like I mean, I get it. The Chiefs, like they have not been juggernauts, but they're going to make light work of this team. Green Bay has not gotten any interceptions over the last 4 weeks. Like Patrick Mahomes is going to have a good game. Pacheco's actually going to be decent. They've given up the fourth amount of rushing yards. Travis Kelce, we all know the deal there. I don't care if Taylor Swift is not in the building. You got to start him. Rashid Rice, top 18, top 19 receiver. I think he's going to have a great game. I'm liking pretty much. I'm trying to think if there's a Chiefs player I don't like out of the main guys. And the defense, I'm playing the DST. I definitely think they can get after Jordan Love and cause an interception at least one, get a couple sacks and stuff because that defense is nice. And I think Jordan Love has been playing really, really well over the last few weeks. But I do think that he has not played a defense like this. This will easily be the best defense he faces, and they're going to like really cause some problems for him.
It's certainly going to be a hard game, and he won't even have a decent run game to rely on because they're going to have to go to Dylan on this week because what's my man? Yep. I don't think he's playing in this game.
Mm-hmm. So Aaron Jones.
That's a lot of pressure. You're going against the Chiefs. They know you don't have the guy to go with your safety valve to hand the ball off to. This is going to be a major test for Jordan Love. But if he happens to win this game, it's almost like a cheat code if you are a role-playing game right here. This is going to put you on like king level. Everyone who's probably pounding this game as far as money, that's the easiest L you're going to see in the whole week. Chiefs over Packers. No one thinks they're going to win without their best player at running back even.
Yeah, and I think like if they win this game, I honestly don't even know what to think. Like I can't even imagine.
Like how are they going to win? What is happening for that to happen?
I'm trying to put it in my head like knock on wood, it would have to take an injury. I don't even want to say what the injury would be for them to win the game. You know what I mean? Like it would take that injury for them to have a shot to me. Because I just think, I think there's some good plays. So let's just talk fantasy real quick. So like I said, Mahomes, great start. Kelce, Pacheco, Rice, great starts. I think another must start to me is Christian Watson. And I'm not a big Christian Watson guy at all. I actually don't love playing him whatsoever. But according to PFF, he actually is like the best receiver on this team versus man coverage. And that's what the Chiefs play like a lion's share of defense on. So I do think that Christian Watson is going to have some opportunities. Ladarius Sneed is the one who concerns me from a defensive side on the Chiefs because he is like a suffocating cornerback. Damn. But I have a feeling he's going to be more on like Dobbs because Dobbs is more traditionally just on the outside. They move Watson all over the place, and I just don't think he's going to follow Watson. So I feel like Watson just has more of an opportunity to do more. And also he already performs better in man coverage. Romeo Doubs struggles in man coverage. Like you absolutely 1,000,000% do not start Romeo Doubs. Save this if I'm completely wrong. But 100% like Romeo Doubs is just a complete no-go based on the way that the Chiefs play defense.
Man, that's why you do what you do again, man.
Yeah. And then Jordan Love, he's okay to me. Like, so people who I'd say are okay starts in this game. So we got our must starts already. We already talked about all the Chiefs guys. And then Christian Watson. Okay starts to me. A.J. Dillon, he's going to get the work. the Chiefs have actually not been amazing shutting down the run lately. So if you need like a safe RB2, I think he'll get you the carries. It's just his efficiency is always the thing that you got to worry about. And then Jordan Love, I think he's going to be solid. I think the Kansas City Chiefs have only allowed 2 touchdowns and 1 pick in the last 4 weeks. So they're just not like, you're just not doing really much of anything from a quarterback standpoint against the Chiefs. That's the only concern I have. But I also think that he could get somewhere on his legs, because I think they've given up 2 rushing touchdowns over the last few weeks as well. So hopefully he can get in the end zone somehow and just give you a productive day. So I think he's an okay start. Like I would have started him behind the Sam Howell, behind the Kyler Murray's type of, but in that range of players though, but behind them.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And then, I can't say it again. Romeo Dubs, please. Just a complete avoid. Complete avoid. All right. So the game's going to be starting up soon. The last thing that we do on this show for real is go through our top 5. And I don't have them written down for myself, so I'm going to always ask Eric to go first so I could think about it.
Okay. I'd probably stick to what I said before. I think given the game that we just saw with the 49ers and the Eagles, that was probably one of the top 2 teams on most people's list going head-to-head. And the 49ers, I'm not going to say they made slight work, but I'm going to say they made some slight work. And they did a very good job when they played the Eagles. They're my number 1 team. Yeah. Number 2, be a little bit different. I'm still stick with the Ravens. I think, the Ravens are still pretty nice out there doing their thing. 3, this is the same list I had before, by the way. Yep. So I'm going to stick with the actual Eagles. Okay. Number 4, the team that we just discussed is playing on Sunday Night Football. That would be the Chiefs. I will never, ever go against Patrick Mahomes. I'm not an idiot. You aren't either. And number 5, we got the Miami Dolphins. We just talked about it. They are probably the most offensively gifted team in the NFL. They have a top Tyreek Hill, and the running game is incredible. They have Mostert, and if Mostert isn't doing well, they have Achane. That team is super duper loaded. They're number 5.
Okay. And just to recap again, can you just list them out real quick, the top 5?
Yes, sir. Number 1, we have the 49ers. Number 2, the Ravens. Number 3, the Eagles. Number 4, the Chiefs. And number 5, the Dolphins.
Okay. So for me, my list is the same in teams, but just the order slightly different on 2 and 3. 49ers have moved up to my top. You have to now. My Eagles were at the top on my list before. Like you said, they made some very easy work of this Eagles team. I fully understand why. I'm not picking I probably would pick Philly to beat them in the playoffs, depending on who's home and who's away. But Philly played so many snaps recently. They played over 160 snaps in the span of 6 days, I believe it was, based on the last 2 games. They were just on the field a lot recently. So they were Bills overtime game, the Chiefs game that was on the Monday night prior to that. So they were playing a lot of snaps, and they're just worn down, super banged up. But also their defense is just kind of suspect anyway. So I get it. So that's why 49ers, they just deserve it. They're playing better. They are more of a complete team right now than the Eagles, and the Eagles got to figure out some things on defense. Number 2 will be the Eagles still. I'm still going to just give them the credit for what they've done so far this year. They definitely need to figure out the stuff on defense, so I'm not going to give them a pass for that too much longer. I'm going to go with the Ravens at 3, and I had them at 3 before. I think that they're just a really solid team. Not amazing offensively, but solid enough to do what they need to do. Amazing on defense, but solid on offense. And I think they have they, to me, run really hot and cold offensively, where either we're going to be smoking the Seahawks, smoking the Lions, or kind of beating the Chargers by a decent amount, but not killing them. You know what I mean? Solid team. So they're not number 3, and the defense is really pulling a lot of weight there. Next, I'm going to go with the Chiefs. The Chiefs could easily make their way up there. They had a good win last week against the Raiders after a tough start. If they have an easy win today, I wouldn't be surprised if I move them ahead of the Ravens next week. And then next, I got Chiefs. And then for me, it's going to be the Dolphins. And I'm really debating between Dolphins and the Cowboys again, like we were talking about last week. Good win for the Cowboys. They needed to have a tough win like they had on Thursday night, but that defense got annihilated by Geno Smith. And Geno, I was really down on him this year. I just thought he threw a lot of dangerous passes last year. So we're just gonna get a lot more interceptions and bad play this year. But I did say prior to the game last week, and I predicted that the Cowboys would win, but I just thought the Cowboys would blow them out. Mm-hmm. Geno actually is really good against man coverage, which is what the Cowboys play really good against it this year. But he just really, I mean, he tore them up. He lit them up. And that defense has some things to figure out because it's like, I mean, that was incredibly disappointing from a Cowboys defensive perspective. So because of that, I gotta still go with the Dolphins because, like you said, on any given Sunday, the Dolphins could come and whoop that ass. Like any other teams ahead of them, they could come in and whoop anybody's ass if you catch them on the right day.
Side note, that defense game for the Cowboys, I felt bad because they were talking up the cornerback who has like the record for like interceptions and touchdowns, and he was covering DK, and DK went like Hall of Fame level at a freaking game. The man had like 150 plus yards and 3 touchdowns on him. He was like, rookie cornerback, who was that guy? He could have just did the small thing on him the whole game. But is DK. That was an insane game after all that coverage going into it. I was like, don't talk him up so much and give him all that firepower beforehand.
Because it's one of those things. It's like, y'all should do that more with DK Metcalf. He's much bigger than literally any corner he will ever face. And he's faster than them. So send him down the field. Like, I don't understand. You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing?
It doesn't make because he's like a literal mismatch in basketball. No one in the NFL will be able to get someone to train to make themselves bigger this Sunday when you play the Seahawks. So you should go ahead and just use your unstoppable leverage and use plays like that. I'm sure DK probably might think that way, but like you said, we not paid to go ahead and make these decisions. We just
You're right. Because like, I mean, to his credit, that guy Deron Bland, he got an interception. So he did get an interception in the game, and it was clearly important because they won like a tight game.
Yes,
but man, they attacked that man, and teams are going to continue to attack that man if he plays like that more. But at the end of the day, like I said, the Dolphins defense really stepped up. The Dolphins offense seems to be an unstoppable force, and even still, like we said, like Waddle is still not giving us what we want, but they're still cooking like that. Mostert really didn't do too much, but their offense is just so efficient on the ground. They could do whatever they want. And Achane, so much of his production, I don't want to say garbage time, but a lot of it came in garbage time. But like, he's still so good. You know, he could do that at any time. Like, that team could have put up another 70 if they felt like it today.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And so that's the scary part about them.
Yeah, you're most comfortable with that team having Tua, of course, and Tyreek. Tyreek is just unstoppable. Like I said, he just saw that they had some light work on him one play ahead of time before scoring a touchdown. He just looked at him and said, let me score right here. But they're like a crapshoot with the other guys. Like, you could see Achane put up 3 touchdowns. Achane could just put up 50 yards, have 2 touches and no touchdowns because they let Mostert get those. Or Waddle might go ahead and just do an unexpected game, and he have like 300 yards one game just because teams overcorrect to try to stop Tyreek, and they just forgot Jalen Waddle's very good. That still could potentially be a game that's out there this season that people who are able to just stick around with Waddle and still have him on his team will absolutely be glad to go ahead and see. But you anticipate having seen that spread out throughout the season better than it has been.
Especially today. Like, again, I would like the amount of disappointment to not have that Waddle game today. The thing, I mean, because what it tells you is I now can't predict it because I definitely, like, last week's matchup was really tough. He killed it. This week's matchup couldn't have been easier. He did nothing. Like, it's just now as a fantasy manager, like, what am I supposed to do? Like, you just start him and hope. That's really all you can do because you're not going to bench him unless you're completely loaded. But you just got to like kind of deal with the ups and downs. But it's just been a lot of downs in good matchups. Yeah. All right, guys. So we did our top 5. Let me recap mine. I didn't recap it. So it's the 49ers, Eagles, Ravens, Chiefs, Dolphins. Cowboys are right there below the Dolphins. They're kind of like a number 6, almost like a 5B. All right. And I think we're pretty much good to go. Anything else you want to talk about, bro?
None on the top of my head right now. Looking forward to another good week of football.
Yep. Yes, guys. So thank you guys so much for hopping in here. Like I said, next week we're going to try to do this show either 7:15 and maybe 7:30. We're going to work on some things, and you're going to see us now partnering with like a bigger website. It's like really exciting news. So I'm going to start make sure you give us a follow. FF Strategist on TikTok. You're going to see a lot of announcements coming out there about this new show that we got coming up with a bigger network. So yeah, we really appreciate you guys sticking with us. I mean, it's only been 5 episodes and now we're on a bigger network. It's kind of dope. But yeah, make sure you guys follow us over there because there's a lot more exciting things to come. But yeah, I appreciate the time. Thanks, Eric, for hopping in here, bro.
Always.
All right, we'll see y'all later. Peace.
Y'all be easy.